about comedy, I've thought a lot about this over the years of, you know, at what point does comedy help inform us and get us critical? And then I think that there's also a point, and it's hard to tell where that point is, where it becomes, we're just laughing at something, or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What do you, because I think like Bill Hicks, I think did it really well, because it was like, it was funny, but it was also, and same thing with George Carlin, it's funny, but there's also this deep truth there that you're just like, wow. Like,
this is where you say I do it really well too.
Yes. This guy, Lee Camp, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I was just liking the beginning of that, you know. This guy did it really well. Now, what about you? Why are you doing what you
I was getting to that. You just...
Now, you don't do it quite as well, but tell us how that goes.
No,
I know. I'm just messing with you. But, yeah, it's an interesting line to walk. And actually, Chris Hedges just the other day in his interview with Dennis Traynor, by the way, if people aren't watching the Resistance Report, they should. In his interview with Dennis Traynor, drew a really interesting distinction. And, you know, I've said that I love a lot of, from a comedian standpoint, I love a lot of what The Daily Show and Colbert do. And, you know, if they would ever offer me a writing job, I don't know that I wouldn't take it for a year before going off and going back to what I normally do. But, so I'm not saying they're horrible by any means, but I have said that they're not, even if they had the same belief system that you and I have, they're not allowed to say things like this. People think they're free to make fun of everything, and they're not, because they are getting a lot of money from, you know, the advertising is paying a lot of money to Comedy Central. And I'm not saying that Jon Stewart can't have a Walmart joke in there, but he can't tear on about Walmart for an extended period of time. He can't say that Walmart is corrupt at its base, or that its business model is corrupt at its base. He can only, and this is where the distinction Chris Hedges drew, is he said, in the hands of Colbert and Stewart, they can make fun of the foibles or the excesses of the power elite, the ruling class, but they can't go at the heart of the system. They can't say this whole thing is a cancer long term, and that's why he draws a distinction between them and someone like Carlin, who was able to do that, because Carlin was not indebted or, you know, enslaved in a way to advertisers. He, you know, yeah, he was on HBO, but they don't get money from advertisers, and so he was allowed to say whatever the fuck he wanted, and he could go after the heart of the thing. And so in a way, you know, it's similar to what we were talking about with a lot of these things are release valves for revolution, for standing up, for revolt, for protest. A lot of these things are little release valves that keep people in line, that keep us all, in a way, enslaved. Because, you know, the time I was probably most frustrated in the entire history that I've been watching The Daily Show and everything was their Rally for Sanity, which I like the concept of, and I like that they were able to get 1 million people out to the Washington Mall. 1 million largely young people, and that was amazing. And at the end of the day, they didn't give any kind of call for action, any kind of we need to change things. At the end of the day, when he summed it all up at the end, it said, let's all just get along and go back to what we were doing. And it was, that is the perfect example of a release valve. It made everybody, made that 1 million young people come out and say, I did something. I went to that rally. I've never been to a protest in my life. I went to that rally, and now I can go back to doing everything the way it was, because the impression, the meaning, the theme of what I got from that was, go back to what you were doing.
Go, keep shopping.
Keep shopping. No, these little release valves are important in terms of keeping us in line, and it's, you know, that's why it's tough to say. You know, you look at someone like, you look at Obama, and you say, is he almost pushing people to see how corrupt everything is because he is left-wing, because he is the left side of things, the Democrats at least. Whereas if it were McCain in office right now, or Romney, the whole left, meaning including Democrats, would all just be saying, oh, all of this is horrible because it's a Republican. We would be saying it's horrible, the Trans-Pacific Partnership's horrible because it's Republican, the drone's horrible because it's Republican, the whistleblower prosecution, the NSA, well, all of it. We would be saying it's terrible because that's a Republican in office. And because it's not a Republican, you're like, oh. But I mean, this is what people should be doing. They should be going, oh, the whole system's like this. They're all like this.